Why does Africa, the world's most resource-rich continent, struggle with poverty and underdevelopment? It's a question that's been asked countless times, and the answer lies not in the scarcity of resources but in their abundance. Africa is a treasure trove of natural wealth, a continent richly endowed with an array of resources. Imagine the vast landscapes of South Africa with its platinum mines, or the diamond fields of Botswana that sparkle with potential. Picture the oil wells of Nigeria, pumping black gold from the heart of the earth. Think about the fertile lands of Kenya, Uganda, and Ethiopia, where coffee, tea, and grains grow in such abundance that they feed nations. However, the bounty of resources isn't just about minerals and agriculture. There's also the untapped potential of renewable energy sources such as solar and wind power. Africa receives more hours of sunshine than any other continent, a fact that could transform it into a global solar powerhouse. But despite this abundance, the continent faces significant challenges. These resources, which should be a catalyst for growth and development, have often proven to be a curse rather than a blessing. The management and exploitation of Africa's resources have been mired in controversy and conflict. From the extraction industries that leave environmental scars and displaced communities in their wake, to the agricultural practices that strip the soil of its nutrients, the wealth of the continent has often been squandered or misused. Corruption too plays a part. It's no secret that Africa's resources have often been siphoned off by those in power, leaving the majority of the population impoverished. This has resulted in a paradoxical situation where the world's most resource-rich continent has some of the world's poorest people. In addition, external influences have also played a role. International trade agreements, foreign investment, and global economic policies have all impacted how Africa's resources are managed and who benefits from them. So when we ask, why does Africa, the world's most resource-rich continent, struggle with poverty and underdevelopment? We must consider these factors. Is it a matter of mismanagement, corruption, or external influences? The answer, unfortunately, is often a combination of all three. How do the political decisions, governance structures, and leadership styles impact Africa's progress? This question is the cornerstone of our exploration today as we delve into the intricacies of Africa's governance. Leadership, in its many forms, has been a critical determinant of Africa's trajectory. From the corridors of power in national governments, to the local council chambers in rural villages, decisions made have had far-reaching implications on the continent's development. But it's not just about the present. The historical context is equally essential. It's a tale of kingdoms and colonies, independence and autocracy, revolution and reconciliation. The leaders of yesteryears, their triumphs, and their failures have indelibly shaped the Africa we see today. As we look to the future, we must also look to the past, understanding the weight of leadership and the responsibility it carries in shaping Africa's destiny. The leadership puzzle continues to challenge Africa's progress. Who pays the price for Africa's resource extraction? It's a question that takes us to the heart of Africa's indigenous communities. These marginalized groups often bear the brunt of resource exploitation, facing displacement from ancestral lands and the relentless degradation of their environments. Imagine being uprooted from your home, the land of your ancestors, to make way for mines or plantations. Picture seeing pristine forests, once teeming with life, reduced to barren landscapes. This is the harsh reality for many indigenous communities across the continent, yet their voices often go unheard. Their struggles are overshadowed by the glitter of gold, the allure of diamonds, and the promise of prosperity. But who truly benefits from these resources? Is it the indigenous communities, the rightful owners of the land, or others who are far removed from the harsh realities of resource extraction? These questions challenge us to rethink the fairness and inclusivity in resource distribution. The voices of the unheard echo through the continent. Can Africa's resources be a catapult for economic development? Let's delve into the compelling narratives of African nations who are harnessing their resource wealth for progress. Take a look at Botswana, a diamond-rich country that has used its gem bounty to fuel tremendous growth. Through smart policies and robust institutions, Botswana has transformed its diamond sector into a pillar of economic stability. Then there's Ethiopia. Leveraging its fertile lands to propel its agricultural sector, the nation is prioritizing innovative farming techniques and sustainable practices, resulting in improved livelihoods for its rural communities. Across the continent, we see a similar story in Ghana, where oil and gold reserves are being responsibly managed to boost the economy and empower local communities. These are not isolated incidents, but a growing trend. African nations are crafting their own paths to prosperity, using their resources as a springboard. They are embracing innovation and fostering economic independence, proving that resource wealth can indeed be a catalyst for progress. Innovation and independence drive Africa's economic empowerment. How do global economic systems influence Africa's economic standing? In the grand scheme of global economics, Africa is often seen as a continent rich in resources, yet its citizens are some of the poorest in the world. This paradox can be traced back to the complex web of international trade agreements, debt, and diplomatic relations that often dictate Africa's ability to leverage its own resources for the betterment of its population. Trade agreements, for instance, play a significant role in shaping Africa's economic landscape. These agreements, often crafted in the boardrooms of far-off capitals, can inadvertently stifle local industries by flooding markets with cheaper foreign products. This can hinder the growth of indigenous businesses, hampering their potential to create jobs and stimulate economic development. Debt, too, is a substantial challenge. Many African nations carry the weight of enormous foreign debts, shackling their economies and limiting their fiscal freedom. The burden of repaying these debts often diverts funds away from critical sectors such as education, health, and infrastructure, stunting their development and perpetuating cycles of poverty. Moreover, the realm of international relations has its own implications. Africa's voice in global forums is often drowned out by more powerful nations, limiting the continent's ability to negotiate terms that serve its best interests. This imbalance of power can result in policies and decisions that often favor the interests of wealthier nations, at the expense of Africa's economic advancement. However, it's important to remember that this isn't the whole picture. Africa is not merely a passive player in the world economy. Many African nations are working tirelessly to renegotiate trade agreements, manage debts, and assert their interests on the global stage. Their efforts are a testament to their resilience and determination to chart their own economic course. Africa's role in the world economy is a complex interplay of global dynamics. This interplay is fraught with challenges, but also filled with opportunity. As the continent continues to navigate these dynamics, it holds the potential to rewrite its economic narrative, moving from a position of dependency to one of partnership and mutual growth. What are the lingering effects of colonization on Africa's resource management? Let's trace the historical roots of Africa's struggles. As we navigate through the corridors of time, the colonial era emerges as a period of significant upheaval. The scramble for Africa in the late 19th and early 20th centuries saw the continent carved up and its resources plundered. The extraction of Africa's wealth for the benefit of colonial powers laid the groundwork for many of the challenges Africa faces today. Post-colonial Africa bore the brunt of these past injustices. Policies and decisions made in the aftermath of independence often reflected the legacy of exploitation. Many nations struggled to manage their resources effectively, hindered by unstable political climates and the persistent shadows of colonial infrastructures. The struggle for self-determination and the quest for sovereign control over resources continued to define Africa's trajectory. As we delve deeper into this narrative, we realize that the journey from colonialism to self-determination shapes Africa's present and future. Can education break the cycle of struggle in Africa? It's a question that has sparked countless debates and discussions. The correlation between education and development is undeniable. In Africa, where the struggle for development is ongoing, education can play a pivotal role. Consider the numerous educational initiatives cropping up across the continent. They are not just teaching reading and arithmetic. These initiatives are empowering individuals with the knowledge and skills to take control of their lives, to make informed decisions, to become active participants in their communities. They are nurturing future leaders, innovators, entrepreneurs. They are equipping communities with the tools to manage their resources, to navigate the complexities of governance, to advocate for their rights. They are fostering an environment where individuals are not just surviving, but thriving. Education is more than just a pathway to employment. It is a catalyst for change, a tool for empowerment. Education holds the key to breaking the cycle and empowering Africa's future. Can conservation efforts coexist with resource-driven development? This question sits at the heart of a crucial dialogue surrounding Africa's future. The continent teems with an abundance of natural resources, from minerals to fertile lands. But the exploitation of these resources often comes at a cost to the environment and biodiversity. The challenge, then, is finding a balance between conservation and development. Across Africa, initiatives are taking shape that aim to protect the rich biodiversity while still promoting sustainable development. These efforts range from sustainable farming practices that preserve soil health and biodiversity, to community-led wildlife conservation efforts that also provide local income. Such initiatives are crucial in ensuring that development does not come at the expense of the environment. They showcase the possibility of a future where economic growth and environmental conservation are not mutually exclusive but rather two sides of the same coin. Finding nature's balance is crucial for Africa's sustainable future.